after one of the previews, we all went to a restaurant on 8th Ave, and Jen and I both grew up in Florida, so there was already like instantly a Florida connection between the two of us. And she saw, no, she didn't. She wanted to see me in Little Shop of Horrors at the Florida State Thespian Festival, but that show sold out and she couldn't get in. And so we knew each other from that. And I get to the restaurant and she goes, George, grabs me by the arm. She takes me over to the bar, and sitting there in a fedora is Joe Iconis. And she says, George, meet Joe. Joe, meet George. You two should make things together. Later that year, I do my first Iconis Christmas show. And then I auditioned for the LA production of The Black Suits. And I didn't get it. And I was talking to Joe about it, like, a couple days after the audition, and he was like, George, you were so great. They literally want to cast like fresh out of high school, like young 18-year-old people. And by that point I was like 27, and I was like, yeah, it's fine. Don't put me on stage with like a bunch of like actual teenagers. That's just not gonna work. And he goes, but I've got this other musical that I'm working on, and there's a part in it that I think you're perfect for. So keep your eyes peeled for an email about like, we're gonna do a reading. And I was like, oh, great, cool. And that was Be More Chill. And that's kind of where the whole thing started. So Be More Chill was the first show that we worked on. And then after that, we did the Out of Town of Broadway Bounty Hunter with Annie Golden up at Barrington Stage. And then we've been developing his Hunter S. Thompson biomusical over the last couple of years as well. And it's just a collaboration that I feel, I told Joe that when I get to New York and we're at 54 together for our sound check, I'm probably going to be like inconsolable and just a crying mess, because whenever I'm with Joe, I feel like I'm at home. There were many years in New York where I couldn't afford to go home to see my parents for Christmas, and that Christmas show like made all of it okay. And so I owe so much to Joe. And yeah, I mean, I love his work. I love his generosity on stage and off. He's one of like the best human beings that I know. And I feel very fortunate that our paths have crossed and that he keeps me around.
I love that. Okay. So how life-changing was the role of Michael in Be More Chill?
Oh, it was incredibly life-changing. I mean, at the time when we did it at Two River in 2015, it was life-changing because it was the first time that I was trusted with a role of any of that kind of a substantial kind of depth. And first time I was trusted with a song like Michael in the Bathroom. I think, Godspell was amazing, but I think that kind of cast this kind of clown light on me. And so to get to stretch myself a little bit and flex my creative muscles a bit with something that a panic attack set to music was really kind of thrilling for me. And so it was life-changing in that sense, that where I was like, I learned through that process that I could do it, that I can do anything, that with work and focus and good people around me and good support, anything's possible. And so it was life-changing in that sense. And then, the internet embraces the show and this thing goes viral. And then that changed my life, right? I mean, I've always been the type of person that wanted to create art for other people. The thing that drew me to theater was not money and fame. It was none of that. It all goes back to that first performance of Little Shop in high school, when I came out holding a tray of, pre-cut, pre-broken flower pots. And I did a pratfall and they fell and they shattered, and then the audience laughs. Yeah. And in that moment at 16 years old, I realized something really mature. I realized that as an artist, we have the power to help someone forget about their shitty day. right? There could have been people in that audience who someone could have lost their job. Someone could have, could be stressing out about bills. And for the 2 hours that they're in that tiny high school auditorium, they forget about all their worries and they forget about all their cares. And there's this beautiful escape that we can offer to people. And so that had always been, I think that's the thing I realized, like, I can help people as an artist, and it's not life or death like it would be as a doctor. And so, I started to hear these stories about how this show was saving lives. It was helping young people, own who they are and be unapologetically themselves. And oh my God, if I had something like that growing up, you know what I mean? Like my 20s would have been way easier. And so it was a huge life-changing thing because I was, it really cemented the power of theater and the power of the art form to really help and heal. Yeah. And to be a part of that healing process for so many people gave me a sense of purpose at a time where I was kind of like, is this really what I should be doing? And then the show makes it to Broadway, and it's my first time on Broadway in 7 years. And that was obviously incredibly life-changing, right? And now in LA, I'll go in for an audition and the casting director will say, I listened to Michael in the bathroom. Yeah, I was talking to John Chu, who directed In the Heights and Crazy Rich Asians. And he was like, oh my God, yeah, Michael in the bathroom, it's on repeat. Like, and so, to be able to have voiced a character that is now permanently kind of cemented in the brains of so many people, young, old, high schooler, Hollywood director, it's better than anything I could have ever hoped and wished for.